premise of today's episode is how we have so much more to leverage. We have so much more in our lives than we think. And with some creative thinking, we can do tremendous things. There's just lots that we can actually do with creative thinking in terms of leveraging what we have at our disposal. And I'm going to give two examples. One is big and one is small. One is about how I got early recommendations on my LinkedIn. And then another is how I met someone from the founding team of Uber in a $30 million duplex Tribeca Penthouse in Lower Manhattan. That's the two quick stories that I'm going to give on today's episode. This is episode 326 of The Edward Show. So this was in 2017. I had quit my job, and actually I'll talk about that in the next story, but I had quit my job to start my own agency. And a friend of mine who I had met when I was trying to get clients a year before going to tech events in New York City, I went to this person's JavaScript event trying to meet SEO clients, and he was teaching class in JavaScript, and we became friends. I would teach him about search engine optimization. He would teach me about programming, which would help me better understand SEO. And we both were mentors to each other. And so he had this really big programming meetup in New York. He was actually the person behind me starting the New York City search engine optimization meetup group. And he was one of the people who gave me courage to quit my job in the middle of 2017. So I quit this job in the middle of 2017 with the plans to start my own agency. And one of his friends, who became a longtime co-founder of mine, they wanted to get into crypto. And so they persuade me to join them in crypto because they need a marketer. And I'm the best marketer that they know. So they get me to stop doing my agency stuff and start doing crypto stuff with them. And so in order to make a name for ourselves in crypto, we start throwing Ethereum events and crypto events with the big programming meetup that they had. And this programming meetup had around 10,000 members. So we start teaching classes on Solidity and other crypto events. We start doing other crypto events as well. And what happens is, because we're throwing these Ethereum events, the meetup.com algorithms, and we have this big meetup, the meetup.com algorithms list us as the biggest Ethereum meetup in the world. Later, we change the keywords to blockchain, then we get listed as the biggest blockchain meetup in the world. But the time we're listed as the biggest Ethereum meetup in the world. I think most people would just say, oh, that's cool. Like, that's lucky that happened. And I start leveraging that for everything, just throwing it around everywhere. Biggest Ethereum meetup in the world. I would start introducing myself as that. Hi, I'm an organizer for the biggest Ethereum meetup in the world. And there's this project at the time. I'm not going to say the name of the project, but it's at the time, middle or like late 2017. And this project is the talk of crypto. And my co-founder thought it was a very interesting project. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna message the co-founder. The co-founders were very famous. I'm like, I'm gonna message them and see if we can meet them. My co-founder was like, no, don't do that. They're not even gonna respond. But go for it. You're gonna waste your time, but go for it. And so I email. I say, hey, I'm an organizer for the biggest Ethereum meetup in the world. We think what you're doing is really cool. We'd love to meet you. And to our surprise, they email back, and they're like, yeah, that'd be great, because they wanted us to start doing events for them. So they're like, that'd be great. Let's meet. And me and my co-founder, several weeks later, go over to their place. And we are expecting, they give us the address. It's some apartment in Tribeca, Lower Manhattan, next to the World Trade Center. We're expecting 1-bedroom apartment. We really are. We show up. We're really just expecting like a normal 1-bedroom apartment with the co-founder, probably a nice apartment, with the co-founder and maybe his assistant. That's what we're expecting. So we check into the lobby. There's a doorman. We check in. We take the elevator. We go up. And we walk down the hallway and go to a door. We go inside, and we are blown away. This place, it's a duplex, 6,300 square feet, 7 bedrooms, huge terrace. I looked at the place afterwards, found out that it's $30 million. It's at the top of the building. It is the penthouse at the top of the building. And there are 2 penthouses on the top of the building. This is one of 2. The other one faces north in Manhattan. This one faced south in Manhattan. And there's female assistants running around, and then there's the male assistant to this guy. And so we sit at this table, and it's 4 people at the table. It's the co-founder, me and my co-founder, and then it's one of the founding members of Uber. One of the founding members of Uber at this table in this crazy penthouse. And at the time, because I was looking at my marketing journal to find this, at the time, I was actually sick. I was getting over a cold, but they wanted to meet. And so I just said, okay, I'm going to go meet them. I wasn't contagious or anything, and I wasn't sick anymore, but I was getting over this cold. And so if I wasn't getting over this cold, if I wasn't lacking in energy, because I remember sitting at that table and being pretty low in energy because I was getting over this cold, I think if I was feeling healthy, I would have been freaked the F out by this penthouse. But I wasn't. I was just like, cool. I'm sitting at a table in this mammoth kitchen with a founding member of Uber in this $30 million, 2-floor, 7-bedroom penthouse facing the World Trade Center. Cool. This is where I'm supposed to be. And then we became friends with these people. They started throwing crazy events at this penthouse. We went to all these parties. Oh my gosh. And met the craziest people. And that happened because when Meetup.com classified us as the largest Ethereum meetup in the world, instead of just being like, that's cool, I leveraged that in as many places as I could to get meetings, to do marketing, whatever. I would look for areas to leverage. And this is just how I am. Even if it's something small, I will look for areas to leverage. So I'm going to give another example. And this is now a bit over a year before that. And I was not able to find work. I was going to all these tech events because I was not able to get SEO clients. I've talked about this story before. So I'm not able to get search engine optimization clients. And at the same time, we have this 42, me and my friend, we were 26, and we rented this huge apartment in Williamsburg, in Brooklyn, in a new construction, brand new 2-floor apartment with 4 bedrooms. And our strategy is that we will overcharge the people in the nicest bedrooms to make it affordable for ourselves. And so we were doing that and it was working well. And we got a year-long lease with this one guy. We gave a year-long lease with this one guy, and he was this 42-year-old lawyer. There are all these red flags about why we shouldn't take him in as a tenant, but we needed the money. So we took him in, and he paid his rent. Every month he paid his rent for the first maybe 11 months. And then he stopped paying his rent. He had a fight with my friend who I was on the lease with because they went into business together and that didn't work out. And so he's not paying his rent. He's living in one of the most expensive bedrooms in our apartment. I can't get clients. This guy's not paying his rent. We're being drained of money. And I'm like, I need a job. And so a friend of mine who I met when I was working in New York City nightlife, she became a recruiter. And I was really insecure about LinkedIn because I had done all these amazing things by 2016. And I was so intimidated by LinkedIn because I didn't know how I was going to lay them out on the page. I didn't know how I was going to lay them out on my LinkedIn page and just use LinkedIn. And it was this new social media platform. I didn't know anything about it. And so my recruiter friend gave me all this advice. And she showed me how to optimize my LinkedIn. And I followed her advice. And actually 2 weeks later, I was getting recruiters reaching out. But one of the things that I did is once I set up my LinkedIn, I said, okay, I need recommendations for my LinkedIn. And I was resourceful and I reached out to everyone that I can to get recommendations. This is just a very small example of how I was resourceful. But one of the things that I did is I had a developer who I was paying for my website at the time, edwardsturm.com. Now I just do everything myself. Now I know how to do everything myself, but I didn't at the time. Very intimidated by WordPress, just didn't know anything. So my developer for WordPress, I even asked him, I was paying him, but I asked him to write me a recommendation. Usually it's the other way around. You do work for somebody, they pay you, and you also ask them to write you a recommendation. But I was paying him, and I'm just like, I need recommendations. I need referrals. It's going to make my profile look better. And I was just resourceful going to everyone that I had worked with in the past. I got so many recommendations this way, and it made my LinkedIn look a lot better. And I always think, who do I know in this who can give me advice, lend me a hand, who can speed up my progress in this? I'm always thinking like that. The whole purpose of this episode is I wanted to share these stories because I think they're fun stories. Like, even for me, I think it's cool to meet with one of the founding members of Uber in the $30 million Tribeca duplex penthouse. when you just don't know anything, you just like completely unexpected. It was very nice. But I also think so many of us have all these opportunities at our disposal, all these resources at our disposal, and we just look over them like they're not even there. We don't even notice them. We don't even notice what we have that we could be using right now. And I know, even me, I'm giving these stories, but I know there are probably a million things that I am overlooking in my life that are super useful to me. And if I thought about X, Y, and Z more creatively, then I would be able to leverage that better. But the point of this is, I think we just all have a lot more than we realize. And these were two instances where I was able to realize what I had and then use them effectively. And that's what I wanted to share on today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed these stories. I had fun. Sharing them. I was going for a walk this morning, early in the morning, and I thought of this story and I'm like, leverage. I'm like, oh my God, I was able to leverage all these things. And I think people have so many more things that they can leverage. And I want to share this. And hopefully someone who's listening will find this valuable. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you'll use something amazing in your life and do some crazy things. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.